get a lot of questions about what's happening in downtown Chapel Hill and the Blue Hill District. So our next segment is going to give us a timely state of play from two of the most knowledgeable people on these districts. Dwight and Matt, please, let's see, yep, you're both up front, good. Okay, so we're going to start with Dwight Bassett. He's the Director of Economic Development for the town of Chapel Hill. Dwight has 30 plus years of developing projects that lead to tax-based growth and employment, and has a particularly good ability in storytelling. Every day he's working to make Chapel Hill open to business. Dwight will provide an update on the Blue Hill District. Dwight, take it away.
Good morning. Everybody seems to probably not know the backstory, so I'm going to give you a 10-second backstory of why it's called Blue Hill District. After we passed the zoning back in 2014, we had a group of the majority of property owners in the district that wanted to think about how they began to remarket the district as something. It's like when you go to Cameron Village, you don't go to Oberlin and some street like Ephesus Fordham. It needed a brand name. And so they spent a year talking to businesses in their centers and talking to the community. And there was no good historical context to the geographic property. And in one of those meetings, one of the businesses suggested that we think about a combination of something related to Carolina and Chapel Hill, and that's where the Blue Hill comes from, the blue for Carolina and Hill for Chapel Hill. So that's the background. So quickly, just for you to remember, it goes from Elliott Road up East Franklin, up to almost the U-turn on the Super Street, and then back down Fordham, and includes Rams Plaza all the way back down to Elliott Road. So David mentioned this project, and I'm jealous. His graphics much better than mine. I apologize. So thank you, David, for telling that story. We are close to closing on this final parcel that we'll be able to complete this project. And it's pretty exciting because it kind of could become sort of the Central Park for Blue Hill, despite the fact that it has an infrastructure purpose with the walking trails and the connecting the two sides together, no longer divided. So we're pretty excited about that. I think it's important for a multitude of reasons. The extension of Elliott Road, you heard last year, council gave authorization for some new conditions for the Park Apartments to redevelop. We're excited about that, but we're equally excited about adding this Elliott Road extension in and the traffic circle at the end, primarily because it will help transportation throughout the district, and we think that's very important as we continue to develop. So that's another infrastructure project. So if you look at the Blue Hill tax base, and you look at it from the day we passed zoning code until today, you see it's been a good bit of growth. We've had about $108 million worth of growth, and a lot of the projects have not even gone onto the tax rolls yet. As you well know, a lot of them are still in construction. And then we look at the tax increment that has grown out of that development, and the town now receives about $500,000 new dollars that is pledged to pay for the infrastructure in the district out of that development. And again, that's actually very few projects, only I think 3 or 4 projects, smaller ones outside of the Berkshire that are generating that new tax base, so that's pretty exciting. So new development, we've seen over 2 million square feet of new commercial uses, 180 million of new construction in the district, and the 2 million square feet does include the new multifamily that's occurring in that district. Some of the projects coming that some you've already heard about. You heard David talk about Fordham Boulevard Apartments. Excited to see that continue. Hillstone up behind Rams Plaza, also a nice addition. And by the way, this development also creates a connector street between the Service Road and Legion Road and opens up some interior land for additional development opposite of Hillstone, which is a nice addition. The Park Apartments, I just talked about Elliott Road extension and the traffic circle. This is looking from the traffic circle back toward that development. We think that that's pretty exciting. And then Screw Hotel up where Hong Kong Buffet is now will be a nice addition, and you can see the new side street that will cross. Hillstone will be just to the right of the screen as it develops. A lot of people have asked, it seems like we're getting a lot of residential. You heard Aaron made comment about it. Historically speaking, when you see redevelopment occur, residents, no matter what the economy is, tends to be the easier to come first. And we think those 2,000 new residents in the Blue Hill District create a higher level of demand. You've seen Eastgate step up with what they're offering, and Elliott Square and others are doing the same thing. And as demand grows, not only will there be new retail and restaurant demand, but there'll be new demand for opportunities for people to work in the district. So we think we're on a really good path to create a new, strong district for our community. And that's my story, Katie.
All right, next up is Matt Gladdek, our new Executive Director of the Chapel Hill Downtown Partnership. Matt is a thoughtful, visionary leader who is working collaboratively to make downtown Chapel Hill a more vibrant and inclusive place. He came to us from Downtown Durham, Inc., and as Aaron likes to say, he has his black belt in downtown development. Matt?
Thank you, Katie. Okay, so I'm 6 months into the job, so I have hopefully crossed paths with most of you at this point, but I will run quickly through the data that I have. So this is what's happening at the partnership right now, just to have you guys up to date. We have an executive director. According to an International Downtown Association report, we are working on creating a unified vision for downtown through a public process. We're going to be moving into a strategic plan after that, and concurrent with all of that, we're working on really building out our market data. So when I come here, what I can show you is going to be much more detailed with much more metric-based key performance indicators than just an update of the projects that we're having. So right now, for retail, we've got a bunch of new stuff coming in. We got Dame's Chicken and Waffles that's looking to be open hopefully in the summer of 2019, but fall 2019 is the latest. Gizmo Brewery is going into the old Rathskeller. Peños is going next to Subdogs and what will be the former Frank Gallery space, which is going to be Epilogue Books. Perennial Coffee is moving next door into the Cuban Revolution space, and they'll be adding seating and a much more additional outside seating around the back, so that'll be a very exciting use of the space that they have. Still Life is a club, I suppose you call it, that's moving to above the old Roots space. Curry Point is taking in the old Asian Cafe space, thanks to UNC helping them through their building. Fa Happiness is opened over by IP3. Blue Spoon is also another renting from UNC next to the future Bank of America there. Philly Cheesesteak is open in the courtyards. Chase Bank, again, as Jeff mentioned, is moving into Carolina Square. And for office, it's been announced in Gaelic Tar Heel that UNC is taking space in Carolina Square. And the old Carolina Ale House space, I'm very excited about this, is going to be 8,000 square feet of office, which as we look at some of the difficulties with retail in downtown due to the high tax rates, in addition to just all the new retail we see going up around town, converting more space to office in downtown is going to be really important. That's going to be people that are going to be supporting the businesses that are currently there. This is an excellent business that's going to be opening up in here. I'm very excited about when I can announce who it is. Again, very excited that 137 East Franklin Street is going to be moving forward with Grubb Properties. If you couldn't tell from Tim's presentation, Grubb Properties is an excellent community member. They're visionary in what they do, and I'm very excited to have them invested in downtown and pulling together the Glen Lennox area with downtown and looking to do really great things together. So this was almost 100,000 square feet of office space that will be is mostly vacant at the moment. So I'm looking forward to the investment they're going to make into that, into the people, the customers that they're going to bring to our businesses downtown. And that's a $23.5 million sale. For anyone looking for projects to get involved in, the old Bubba Malley space, formerly Country Fried Duck, is for sale. It's in the opportunity zone, so you can talk to Dwight about all the possibilities that will offer you. That's 0.31 acres and $2.4 million. It's an expensive price for the land, as I think I heard some of the murmurs around there. That is the tax value, and it is one of the difficulties and challenges that we face in downtown, is that our property is taxed and valued at a high rate, and and that makes converting it difficult, because if you're gonna sell land, you're gonna sell what it's taxed at. So moving forward, we got some good news on parking. The town has approved wall stack repairs and expansion, so that will be adding 100 spots to the top of it after taking care of some structural issues. Dwight is working hard with Meg and the head of parking to potentially look at a parking deck behind the courtyard apartments. 140 West Plaza, I'm very excited that we have the green light from the town to move forward. The owner of the retail space there is going to be donating improvements to that 140 West Plaza to turn it more into a space that people want to linger in. It is in their self-interest to have a space that people are lingering in to help their retail, but this will be a big public improvement and amenity, and I'm very much looking forward to having what has always been intended to be a public space, be a place that people actually use. And then Amity Station right now is in the development agreement process. As we heard from some of the previous developers, this is a long process. They're 4.5 years into working with the town, so hopefully we'll be there before 7 years. But they're currently looking at around 300 units, depending on the amount of community benefit that they get or they give in return, depends on how much units they have. And so that's the big conversation right now, mostly with Northside neighborhood and the town council members as to how that will look. So that was a really quick run through. I set up for questions now, but I'm happy to wait to the end if that's a better place for it.